Hey there. So, this is my first live stream in a while that I'm doing with tarot cards. So, hopefully, we'll get some people to come in here. I'm not sure if it's going to stream on Facebook or not, but I hope it does. What I thought I would do, because today is Halloween, I thought I would share a tarot reading for whenever you watch this for the next season of your life. They're a little different than a regular deck of tarot cards. And if there are people that are in here and you have questions, I will take questions and I will answer questions that you have using another deck of cards. So I'll just go ahead and start this. And of course, anytime I do readings for people, I tell them like this in this way that it's not personalized to just you. I say, if it resonates, take it. There's maybe a message in there for you. If it doesn't resonate, that's okay too. Just leave it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to actually check on Facebook because it's telling me that it's on, but I don't see the chat. So we'll see what happens there. And I don't want to miss anybody's messages. I guess I don't see it. So maybe it didn't work. That's okay. It's on YouTube. That's all that matters. Okay. So let me go ahead and start. I also wanted to mention that if you're interested in getting a reading from me, I have been doing specials this whole week on my website. You can check it out by going to the links in the description box. I put links in there so you can check them out. There are different specials that I have going on until November 1st, which is tomorrow. So this reading is going to be talking about us as a collective. Let's see what happens. All right. So the first thing I see is that there has been some time of looking out the window at something other than what you're actually seeing. So you see the person here is gray and he's kind of in gray color, and then you see the window, it's in a color, right? There's a form, a color there. And what this is saying is you're almost looking out at the other side of the grass and thinking it's greener than what you're actually dealing with. So you're seeing yourself in a darker, in like a more dull looking way, not necessarily dark, but a dull kind of way and you're looking at other things saying, there's something better on the other side. And this may be true, but also it's just a reminder to put your mind in a frame of being positive, that you're actually putting your mind on your attention on what you really want to create. One of the things that it says in terms of creation for you is, number one, this is the challenge. This is the innocence card. If you look at this card, you see he looks like a monk, and he's got this tiny little bug in his hand, and he is holding it, and he is looking at it as if it's like the most magical of things. And so this is telling you that don't lose the innocence of it. The juxtaposition here of the old man, he's an old man, he's probably very wise, holding this little bug, being so small, and probably much younger than the older man. So the juxtaposition of that is saying that wisdom comes and joy comes from the innocence that you have about everything. So reminding yourself not to view yourself in a light that might feel a little bit like dark, or a little bit not as colorful as what's around you and in terms of other people, and keeping the innocence in front of you. That's how these first two cards are laid out. This is a Celtic cross, by the way, and these are each card I'm going through. I'll explain what they mean and what their positions are. The innocence card is saying to you that there's a feeling of need for something. So in the position that it is, it's like you're needing to embody the innocence in everything and not necessarily get weighted down by the adult humanness of it, even though you might be an adult. Like, this person is an old man, right? He looks pretty wise too, right? But it's saying, don't get weighted down by that. Look at the innocence in everything and know that that will help you move forward and where you're going. So at the root position, we have the courage card. So the courage card, I love this card because it talks about this tiny seed that fell into this cement or concrete, and it still, even though it was a tiny seed, it still grew into a flower. So what this is saying to you is that you needing to have the courage to grow no matter where you're planted, knowing that you can grow through the innocence and understanding yourself in the light of innocence. I think sometimes we do that with other people, where we look at them in their innocence, but we forget to look at ourselves in our innocence, that you can grow from any kind of strife that you're through. You know, this card didn't come to have a flower on it just because it was stuffed somewhere. This card actually grew a flower because it was it meant something, because it had the will to go. And that's what this is saying to you. This is in the root position of the Celtic cross. So the first two cards are in the center, one's on top of the other, and then the other one is in the bottom. So in the mind position, this is telling you, this is the 10 of Cups in a traditional deck. So each one of these cards actually do relate to the traditional tarot. I just like doing general readings with this deck because it just gives you a little bit more colorful of imagery. So this is the harmony card. So as you can see, she's connected here through her heart chakra and to her third eye chakra. It's saying, don't forget what your intuition is telling you. This is really important. Otherwise, you might get stuck. If you get stuck, you can get stuck easily by not looking at your intuition, and knowing that whatever your intuition and your heart are connected. So when you're feeling something, when you're actually feeling it, when you're knowing that something is real for you, don't deny that because of other people's stuff. You know, when you know something's true in your heart, don't deny it. Hold on to it, because if you deny it, then you're kind of holding back a part of yourself. And we're going back to the first card, which was the postponement card, Four of Cups. If you know the regular tarot, it's like you're going back to looking at yourself in grayscale, and you don't necessarily want to do that. So that's what this is saying, knowing that your heart and your mind is connected. And I will say, because I am an astrologer too, that with Saturn and Neptune very close in conjunction to each other back in the very end of Pisces, which they'll be moving into Aries again next year, it's kind of giving you weight to your intuition. It's giving you the ability to see beyond what is like necessarily what you're dreaming of. It's giving you the ability to create what you're dreaming. So that, and there's also a whole bunch of other planetary things going on. If you want to listen to the podcast Mark and I did yesterday, you can check out my channel too, because we did a whole month of November coming up talking about the astrology. So I do tie the astrology into the cards. Of course, everything's related, but you know, this is about the cards themselves. So this card is in the position of the mind card. So the first two cards were in the center. The one on the bottom was the courage card, and this is in the mind. So this is where you're putting your mind. Put your mind in a space where asking yourself something like, am I contributing to the life that I want to create? If I am, awesome, keep going. If you're not, then readjust. You know, that's what this is saying to you. So in the past position, I have this card called the guidance card. This is right here, the guidance card. This is saying that your spirit, your higher self, your ancestors, they are guiding you. They are coming to be able to help you see things from a perspective that is different than maybe you have seen before. This has been something you've been nudged to hearing. If you're not connected to your spirit guides, you can do so. You can do so by asking them to be present to you, giving them, you know, permission to give you signals on how you want to communicate, you know. And just by asking. When I first started connecting with my spirit guides, it was really interesting. I was working with a Native American woman, and she was into Native American healing and that sort of thing. And she told me about my spirit guides, and she said to me, they're really subtle. You'll feel it. And she knew that there was going to be something about like me feeling tingles on my neck. Everybody feels this differently. It could be a gut intuition, it could be something in the mind, but she tells me this. So I was like, I don't know how I'm going to connect. And this was a long time ago, like 30 years ago. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to connect with, my spirit guides. It seemed a little woo-woo to me. But I was driving home, and I'm driving, and I felt something here, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I stopped, and I like slowed down because I was driving, and I felt it. And I was like, wow, that felt like what she was telling me. And like, I slowed down enough that like I got to a red light and I stopped, but someone had actually just passed it. So if I didn't slow down, I probably would have gotten smacked by the person running the red light. But point is that we end up getting in connection with our spirit guides, with our soul, with our higher selves, by connecting and listening and tuning into our bodies. So that's what this card is saying to you. You've been asked to open up and to say, how is spirit trying to communicate with me? Everybody's different. Like I said, sometimes it's a gut intuition. Sometimes it's more of like a feeling. I get tingles a lot. That's how it works with me. And sometimes I get like a phrase will come into my mind, and I'm like, where did that come from? But I know it's spirit giving me guidance. So that's called clairaudience, by the way. And then in the future position, the card that I have here is this card. It's called Moment to Moment. So this is on the other side of the cross. So the guidance was on one side of the cross, and that's kind of what your intuition, this is what's come up to you, not your intuition, but what's coming up, what's ahead of you. This is saying moment to moment. This is saying live in the present moment. As you can see, he is walking down some steps. It looks like he's in water, kind of like a dreamy place, but it's saying he's really living in the moment, because he could step at any place on, outside of these steps here, these little stepping stones, and he could misplace and kind of fall. So, this is saying live each moment as if that's the moment you have, and that's it. Remember that. Remind yourself that each moment is a precious gift. Don't allow like the noise and everything of stuff around in the world to drag you into a place where you are not living in your present moment. This is what this is talking about. Because, the metaphor and the thing about this card is that at any moment it can be taken from you. At any moment, like anything could happen to anybody. Lightning happens, or natural disasters, or who knows what can happen. I'm not predicting anything like that. I'm just saying at any moment it's always good to know that you're living to your fullest. I've heard people say things like, asking yourself in the next day or in the end of the day, like, did I live my life as if it was my last, I'd be happy. I mean, that's a thought to also think too, am I really living to my fullest potential? Am I really trying to do the best that I can? Am I really, appreciating each moment as they lead into the other? And if you kind of look at it from that perspective, you can see where your whole day kind of led into itself. So now that's the cross for the Celtic cross. Now we have these 4 cards, but I actually pulled 5 that are going to be future cards for us to think about. So future cards for us to think about, to communicate, and to think about possibilities in the future. And of course, this is not a reading for you personally, although I'm talking to you as if it's you personally. I think everybody can take something from this. But so take it with that grain of salt, and don't try to take it as the gospel, is what I'm saying. I think that we get tarot readings so that we can understand and learn possibilities of the future. And then sometimes we can take different paths because of what we learned in a tarot reading, and that might change the outcome. So nothing is set in stone in my personal belief of this. Okay. So the card at the bottom of the staff is this card. This is the consciousness card. Now, this is saying that it's kind of similar to the card that is representing the guidance card that I pulled for the past position. But this is more, the guidance is more like your spirit guides or your higher self, where your consciousness is saying that you have this awareness and you have this knowing of something that is right. This is your guiding light. This is what's going to help you navigate through any difficulties that you're going through. You're tapping into your consciousness and knowing that you're able to maneuver through things because you're stable with yourself, if that makes sense. And that always will help you kind of move in a direction where you're not feeling stressed out about things. You know, if you're able to tap into your consciousness and not get stressed out about things, and know that each piece, even the difficult things, will lead into the next, and it won't be necessarily so challenging to move through. So the next card in the staff, you go up 4 cards. That's how you place them on the table. Is this card. Now this is the Tower card in a traditional deck of tarot. It's called the transformation card. Sorry, breakthrough card. So, but it is a Tower card in a traditional deck. So what this card is saying, that there is something that has been built up and this is in the placement of what's around you. And there's something that has been built up. If you can apply this to things that are going on in the world, it's been built up in a certain direction. But at some point, there is a tearing down of the old so that you can rebuild the new. And that's what the breakthrough is all about. The Tower in a traditional deck is on fire. It's on fire. It's actually, flaming, and people are falling outside of it. And the Tower is saying that there's destruction happening. But the beauty of it is that in the destruction, you're able to clear the rubble away, and you're able to then put yourself in a position where you're rebuilding something beautiful, or something of use, and something meaningful, and something even stronger. So that's something important to think about, So we have, on one hand, the consciousness tapping into your higher self, tapping into what your intuition and knowing is. And then we have the Tower card is what's around you, saying no matter the chaos, this is such a stoic message too, no matter the chaos that's going on, just keep yourself still and know that you're actually going in the direction that you need to be going into. And that's what these 2 cards are talking about. Now, the next card in the staff part of the Celtic cross is the politics card. Now, this is the 7 of Swords in a traditional deck of cards. So I like the visualization on this deck, because if you look at the guy's face, he looks like someone kind of yucky, and he's got this snake body, and he holds up this mask in front of him. Politics is a great word for that. No matter where you land on the political scale, that's a thing. Every politician has this mask that they show to the world, right? So this is saying, this lands in the position of the hopes and the fears. So it's like, maybe you're afraid of people not showing you their real self, or maybe you're afraid of showing your real self. This is saying, take the mask off and don't be afraid of what's behind it, and know that other people might not be showing their true self to you. This is a fear too. It's not necessarily what's real. It can be a fear, it could be something you're feeling internally, but it's something that's going on underneath the surface. But it's not necessarily what is real. But this is saying that, there's something that's not being shown truly to you, in your face. Okay. And then the last card, actually there's 2 last cards because I threw one to tie it all together. This card is the Silence card, and this card is a really beautiful card because if you look really closely at it, here's the full moon, and you can even see the face in the right here in the sky, right? So this is saying, take time to meditate, take time to give yourself an opportunity to quiet yourself. We struggle a lot sometimes with not quieting ourselves. We're always busy doing things. We've got family, we've got friends, we've got life, we've got chores, we've got work, we've got all the things. Everybody has a whole bag of things that they do, right? And this card is saying, make sure you don't forget the silence, the time to nurture your soul on an inner level. This card is really speaking of that. Even when things are very chaotic around you, which is the breakthrough card, make sure that you allow yourself the time to get yourself to feel more like you're put together on the inside. And I will tell you this, I feel like, and I think this is true of everybody on the planet, if we are able to take care of our own self to the capacity that we're able to take care of ourselves, so some people can do that better than others, and that's what I mean by that, then we are able to then turn and help other people. So as someone who helps people a lot, I do readings, I do consultations, I'm an astrologer, I do Reiki. So as someone like that, I that does that kind of work to help people, I also have to do that too. I have to make sure that I have time where I'm not answering the phone to help someone, or when I'm not, and I'm sure everybody is like that. So if you have little kids, of course, when they go to bed, you have to take some time to yourself so that you can rejuvenate your soul, because then you're able to take better care of the things that you need to take care of in your life. That's, excuse me, that's what the silence card is talking about. And then this card is the receptivity card. This card is telling us that everything is connected to us. As you can see, it's a figure here, and you see this is like a lotus on the mind, in the mind area, and you can see all the lines that are going in and out connecting to the chakras, which is this this band right here within the person. All the chakras live in that spinal column. So it's saying that there is this receptivity we have to everything that we're around. One of the messages that I love from this card is saying, we are who we spend time with. We become who we spend time with. I'm not saying like every single person you meet, because there could be good people you meet in the day, there could be bad people you meet in the day, but every single person you intentionally spend time with, and you take on their energy. They take on your energy. This is why it's important to be careful who you give your energy to. You don't want to be hanging out with people. I know this sounds like very motherly of me, but it is true. Who we are connecting with on a physical level, who we are spending time with, we're giving our energy to, that's really important, because you take on the qualities of those people. And this is what this card is talking about. You want to make sure that those people are people that are reflections of you, or that you guys are helping each other up, as opposed to pulling each other down. Because if there's people that are kind of pulling each other down, that can be very struggling. That can be very difficult to be around people full time, because you'll end up feeling down yourself, whether you feel empathy for someone who's struggling in some way. For instance, if someone was doing drugs, say for instance that was going on, and you want to help them but they don't want to help themselves, they'll eventually pull you into something, whether it's just feeling bad for them or enabling them, or you take your distance and take care of yourself and let them figure themselves out. That's the most loving thing you can do. That's only one example, but I think this can be applied to every single person that we intentionally spend our time with. And like I said, we might meet someone at the grocery store and say hi to them, and they may be like the worst person in the world. We don't know that, but we're not intentionally spending time with that person. When you're intentionally spending time with someone, when you're giving them your energy, there is a receptivity that is going between you and them, and that shapes who you are too. So I think that's a really important message here. So to wrap this up, I definitely see that there is a lot going on energetically. I feel like we're all kind of going through this phase where we're shedding ourselves a little bit to let go of what once was the old version of ourselves. I mean, we're always doing that, but I feel like the astrology also connects into these things for us, where all the planets, the outer planets, are shifting into different signs, and that's giving us a chance to shed something of what we were, so we can become what we are to be in the next phase. And I think the cards are reflecting that, saying tap into your inner self, connect to your inner self, know that that's guiding you more than anything, and that's bringing about better attention, better connection with other people around you too. And also that one warning about the politics, like knowing that the not everything is what it seems. That's this one. You know, like I said, it is not necessarily what's real, but it is, you know, a potential out there. So be careful. If there's people around you that you get an intuition about and you feel funny and you don't really know them, it might be that this is what's going on, where you're just not seeing because they're holding up a mask and saying there's something that they're really not. This is important to know. This is the one like warning out of these cards. So yeah, well, I hope that was helpful for whoever watches this or watched this with me. If anybody has any questions and you would like me to pull a card for you, feel free to type it in the chat. I would be happy to do that for you. I'm going to check Facebook to see if I can see the video yet or not, in case someone's writing me on there. Yeah, I don't know how to see it. So I'm going to have to figure that part out. Next time I do a live, I'll have to figure that part out. But you guys can use YouTube to write to me if you would like me to pull a card for you. So I'm not seeing where the video is on Facebook. I'll have to figure that out before I end up coming back another time. I'm going to be doing these videos more often. Oh, hey, Miko. Yes, you definitely can, my darling. Thank you for coming too. Do you have a question? Yeah, so I was saying I'm going to be doing videos, live videos more often. So if you don't follow, I'm not sure if Facebook is going to work or not, but I'm going to do them on YouTube for sure. So if you don't follow me on YouTube and make sure that you click that notification bell so that you can see when I come online. I'm going to aim for doing them on Thursday or Fridays. I'll get into a rhythm and be more narrowed down with it, and I'll let you guys know when I'll be doing it ahead of time so that you can come and get readings from me. I like doing these. I did it this week on Friday because it's Halloween, one, and number two, because it's also yesterday I did a live stream with Mark Matheny on the astrology for the month ahead. Okay, so a general one. Okay, so a general one for Miko. Oh, you did? Okay, awesome. Great. Okay, so I pulled three for you. Okay, so it's more like the situation, you know, general situation of what's going on, and I'm using the Black Cat Tarot because it's, you know, Halloween. So this is the first card. This is the Hanged Man. It's saying that the situation, you generally feel like you're in a spot where you are kind of tied up and you can't like really untie yourself. This is telling me that you like pay attention to that. If you're feeling like you're stuck somewhere, know that there is potential for you to untie yourself, and that could require something that you end up being able to do yourself. The hangman hangs by his feet. He can untie himself, and that's the metaphor with the hangman, is that he's hanging there by choice on some level. Like he got himself wrapped up in that web hanging by his feet somehow, but he isn't necessarily, you know, he's kind of willful in that, doing it himself as well, allowing that to happen. So this is the Six of Coins. The Six of Coins is telling me that you have work to do. There is work to do to help yourself. And if you can see, it's hard to see these cards. But if you see, he's kind of going into the water, and as you see, he's got there's another cat over here. So it's a feeling of collaboration, connection, working with other people. There's a feeling of getting grounded with other people. There's the six of coins is that connection with other people and collaboration. So if there's someone that you're feeling kind of stuck about, or a situation you're feeling stuck about, then knowing that collaborating, communicating, and getting grounded with them will really help you. And then the last card is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands, and she's taking action on what she wants. She's actually creating here. You see her throne in the back. So she's taking action on something. This is saying take action on the things that you want to iron out with yourself. If you feel stuck anywhere, it could be your work, it could be relational, it could be anything really. It doesn't necessarily matter what it is, but there's something there where you're feeling like, you know, kind of stuck in a web, and you're wanting to get yourself out of it by being grounded with people, and then putting your energy towards making the solution happen. So yeah, that's a good little message for you. I hope that resonates with you. Yeah. Okay, well, I think what I'm going to do, since I don't have a lot of people here, that's cool. I will come back another time, probably on Thursday, and I will let you know ahead of time that I'm going to, when I'm going to be on. It does. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for letting me know. I'm glad to hear it a lot. Yeah, it's good. And I will figure out the Facebook thing to make sure I can see if it streams on Facebook too. But okay, everyone, thank you guys so much. The last thing I wanted to mention is that, as I always talk about, I'm an astrologer, and I am going to be speaking at the Cosmic Discovery Conference on Fixed Stars in April of 2026. When the outro plays, it will give you the link to go to the conference. It's cosmicdiscoveryconference.com. And you can, of course, get a reading from me if you'd like. You can just check out the links in the description box. And I have specials going on. Feel free to check them out or reach out to me, and I'd be happy to guide you. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.